What's up, guys? Steven here today, and I wanted to talk to you about staying focused on your own move. So, what do I mean by that? Most of the time, I've come to realize that I am at my best when I'm simply focusing on what it is I'm doing and not giving a fuck about the rest of the environment. So, the other day I was skateboarding and I'm a newbie, meaning I don't really know how to do much apart from an ollie at that. And I realized that there are all these other guys around me who are so much better, doing all this insane shit on their skateboard, kick flipping, nollies, backside 180, all this insane stuff. And I was just there sitting there like, look at me. I just go up and down the ramp. So at first it really bothered me because I just could not help comparing myself to everyone else who was better than me. And it was very tough and hard to find the joy in skateboarding. But then at one point, I guess, I just got so into the zone that I started skateboarding for the fun of skateboarding instead of just trying to one up myself or other people. So more specifically though, and the point of this video is that I realized that the moment I started placing my awareness on myself, I almost kind of think about Dragon Ball Z and like when they turn Super Saiyan, they just get this white halo surrounding them, right? And it's just like everything else just fades into the background, and then the character is in the center of focus. It's kind of like the moment I started placing that light around myself, I started just basically focusing on every single one of my actions and not worrying about the others, not worrying about who's better than who can do what. I just started finding the joy in expressing myself, whatever that was, even if it was something as simple as going up and down the ramp. I just found it incredibly awesome because it wasn't about the doing, it was just more about being. I wasn't trying to do skateboarding, I was just skateboarding at that point. And when I went back home and I thought about this, it made me realize and think about so many more moments in my life when that same phenomenon occurred. When I was on the soccer field, and when I was worried about just the pressure of, making sure I'm a good player and not miss my passes and all this shit. It just got in my head and it just made me have anxiety. But the moment when I stopped caring about winning or losing and I just started focusing on making a simple pass or taking that step that I wanted to take or going for the goal when I saw it, the game just became so much more enjoyable because I essentially allowed myself to relax into it, take it in and reap the benefits from the pleasure. So this is my point to you. It's like in your life, essentially, you're always going to be presented with stress. You're always going to be presented with performance anxiety and basically looking good in front of so-and-so who's there at that particular time looking at you, trying to see what you're gonna do. I can guarantee you that you're self-sabotaging yourself when you focus more on pleasing them than on making sure that you're happy. It's almost like the universe senses that you're trying to get a reaction from it, and so it just fucks you up in your head. So this kind of ties into the idea of being present to the moment. Like I feel like a lot of people throw it around, just be present, bro, just be present. Like what the fuck does that really mean? To me, I think it means that you just stop caring and you just let go of everything. Like, whether it's saying a funny joke that amuses you, whether it's doing something silly that makes you laugh, you just start doing all those things. You're essentially quit putting seals on your range of expression. You allow yourself to basically say whatever comes to mind, all for the purpose of your pleasure and your satisfaction. Now, because you're coming from that place of just, this is me, wah, 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 wah. Because you're coming from that place, it's almost like you're creating something new, because you're not trying to replicate, but you're trying to produce. And so that fresh, pure authenticity makes it so much more compelling and so much more attractive to people around you. Because when I started, I guess, losing myself to skateboarding, I noticed how people started, I guess, looking. Because, I mean, you can always learn from a new guy, right? Even if you've been doing it for years. Because he kind of like reminds you of those fundamentals. So me, for example, I focus on just turning and turning and turning and turning in my skateboarding. And so when, I guess, I just started having fun doing it, people were like, and then they started doing it in their tricks. And so I think that's kind of how we also help each other. When one person becomes present and loses himself to whatever it is that he's doing, everybody else kind of gets pulled into that. And they're like, oh yeah, this is why I'm doing that, because it's funny. So, I hope this makes sense. As always, I hope you got something out of this, and until next time.